Hello, okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our meeting today. It is Saturday here in Kenya, and it's one here where I am at the time of this meeting. So we are just having a meeting, and we are coming from a group called Dry Fast Group. This group was started. It's actually a group, but started after from a weekly fasting group. This weekly fasting group was started by Arik, who is in Israel, but then we realized that we needed an extension of people who do experienced fasting, and this family of experienced fasters were not finding were finding that it's if we're just in only one weekly fasting alone, we felt like we can do more than just 1 week. So at the time we were starting, we didn't know actually how we will go. We were just starting as a group, of WhatsApp group, but then we felt also all the things that we're doing, or even meetings, and maybe like that should be expanded. That's why we started the YouTube channel, and then we started to invite people. It's not long ago. It's just about the end of last week, actually. So not last week, last year, 2020. So as time has been going, we also found the importance of getting people who have the expertise or experience. So that's what we have been doing, bringing people, asking questions in our walk, in this our path, because this is just something that is common to all. It's common to all. It's just a denominator. If you talk about fasting, you talk about food, you talk about all these things common to all humankind. So we have been searching for experts, especially on the dry fast, but then something has been missing, the part of pranic lifestyle, pranic living. We got only one person who was not willing to share with us everything. he was, and he didn't want to come for another meeting. I've tried to contact him, closed. So when Ranjeet had this, I think it was a discussion between me and Trevor. And I just said, okay, I'll be willing to give the information. There is no problem. So I'm so honored to have Ranjeet today, and she's going to share with us. I'll ask a question, actually. Is it really true that there are people who are living on prana? That is the main thing, because that's where we start from. Then we'll catch up, maybe. Yes, welcome.
Can you hear me okay?
Very well, very well.
Oh, that is just so beautiful. And thank you for everyone coming here, giving their energy and time to this as well. You know, I just want to set the energy, right? And I will answer your question in a moment, because when you talk about are we living on prana, the question is yes, we all are actually in some way or form, but some people are more awakened to it. And more in tune with it, and more surrendered to it, more in the heart space of love. And one of the things I always do, Frederick, as you know now with me, is when I start talking, I always want to talk to the heart and soul. I don't want to talk to the mind, because once you start going into the mind, then we get away from really what pranic living is, or mana living, or chi living, or living of energies, nourishing from that love, from that place. I would say that nearly every human in some form is living off energies without them even being awakened to it. And the key thing is, how do we nourish ourselves from that? How do we utilize going into the next evolution with all our souls and the new earth plane, where we're heading? We're all awakened to that. We know that information is here now. So the answer to your question is yes. If you want to go deeper with me, please ask, for sure. And I will channel, I will transmit, I will do those things. I'm very much more comfortable with it now.
Yeah, actually today you are very free. There's one time I attended one of your meeting and found that you are connecting with a guy. I think this guy was in US or I don't know. I don't remember, in a call that was organized by Arik. I really like that, because for me, I think that is called, we call it in Christian giftings, the gifts of the Holy Spirit, the word of knowledge. So I enjoy that kind of things. So if there will be connections, if there's something that you see about people who are attending now, who are unaware of what the gifts you have, it is free. Just do it. Let's be the way you are going to be led. So maybe I go with this other question now. So how can a person really transit? You become get out from uh, this dense way of eating and feeding, and then now it becomes more light, and then you become very light, and transit to fully pranic living. Exactly.
Yeah. I think I personally don't think not everybody can not just always just not have any form of consumption. Okay. Even though our voice is used for sound and to illuminate and praise the one that's within us all. But when we dense things out by putting things in, we actually suppress all that, including our emotions and our physical. And I don't believe everyone's soul is actually truly on the path of full, what you call breatharian or Aryan. All these names and terminologies are out there. The question is the level to what the soul is wanting to evolve into. Okay, I think maybe in a few hundred years this is where everybody may go. I'm not sure. It could happen in a suddenly. It all depends how quickly we want to evolve and technologicalize our bodies, because this is just a technological form. Our minds are very, very attached to our bodies, and I think I'm going to differentiate between men and women on this generation that we're in, because for women, we are nurturers. We take care of the earth. We look at communities. We look at how we are respected, and we have children and all those sort of things. So there's a lot more, I think, sometimes for a woman to surrender into what's going on around them. But we need women to evolve higher, because the woman is able to more intuitively attach to these energies more, and is more able to surrender, and is able to actually, the key thing to this always is energies, is actually handling the energies through the physical form. And this is why we need to transcend our forms or adapt our forms in order to handle the energies in this body on this planet. Because many times I have been taken out of my body to enter the powerful fields that come through. Because if your body's not adapted to a lighter form, it's going to be a lot more challenging to difficult to do that. This journey, if you want to go all the way, I will say it's not for the faint-hearted. It's a tough journey. You have to face everything. You have to face all your broken mirrors, not just for yourself, ancestry-wise. You need to bring up all the emotions that are suppressed inside of you, and you need to love on that. You need to come more living in your oneness. So I feel that it's not for everyone, Frederick, and everyone here, but I do believe there is a level that people can adapt to and enjoy this journey. Be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself. Don't go like, putting a tape around your mouth saying, that's it, I'm not going to eat anymore. It doesn't work that way. There's so much more involved than the place of the self, because this journey is not about the self. It's about the all, and not just all the beings that are on this planet, but all in all time, past, present, and future. So it's a massive responsibility, a massive integrity, a massive ethical response, and to really feel the power force of the love is so overpowering that most people aren't able to, take the light straight away. It's definitely a journey. So the physical body adaptation needs to take place. And it's just so great when you have these these Zooms and webinars. And thank you for saying that I'm able to speak more freely now, because that is true. We can come in now and speak more freely, because many are now open to this information, and many are now open to wanting to go back within themselves, go back into their soul sovereignty, to really discover why they're truly here, and really remember what it's really like to have the unconditional love, because everything that we seek outside of us is already inside of us, as we are aware. But we look for external validation, always for our ego, always for the self, always for the mind, and we need to come back into the one breath for sure. I'm not sure if I answered your question, Frederick, but please feel free to keep continuing to dig deeper within inside myself.
Yes, I get you. I get you. And yeah, I've gotten some part of love when you open to love, and then it's like it comes on you. You become the channel. But sometimes, if you're not really prepared, it can overwhelm you. I've gotten that clearly. That is so quite clear. And
Yes.
I think those who are experienced with dry fasting here know about what you're saying. It's very true. Sometimes you just find yourself in that channel. You find yourself open to sometimes joy, sometimes even joy. You find it's too much. This one time I don't want to give you just a little experience that I got sometimes after a meeting. I couldn't sleep. Because the joy was too, I was feeling like it's vibrating my chest area. It's like it wants to break. Just with joy. So I get you very clearly. I get you very clearly. So okay, you just maybe you can give us the steps. Somebody talked to us and you're telling us about 49. Do you know about this? 49 days. Does it take 49 days to totally transit to pranic living? Say 7 times 7. Said something like that.
You know what? There's lots of numbers out there. I mean, I love the Divine Nine, and I work through cycles and patterns, you know, to move myself into dry fasting or no consumption, natural state. I don't like 49 sounds like a beautiful number to me. 40 days look, when I did my first journey, all I wanted to do was like, oh, can I just fast for 40 days and 40 nights like Jesus? You know, because Jesus was a possibility. He was in my belly. The fire, the Christ consciousness was in my belly. And I wanted to get close to the Christ consciousness. So I think 49 days, if somebody was able to, dry fast for 49 days, are you talking, Frederick, or just fast on like no food?
No. He gave us something like the circles you're talking about. And he said it's like a spiral. It goes like that. And then he said, yeah. So he said the first stage takes about, each stage takes 7 days. So I was talking about 7 days dry fast the first time, and the second time you go for water. You take a little water. The second stage, that is the second 7 days dry fast. But then he couldn't give us any other thing, any other information apart from that. He didn't. He said you have to start fast before we can talk about the third, the fourth, and the fifth, up to the seventh stage. You can't be talking about the seventh when you have not started with the first stage. He said something like that.
Yeah, look, I kind of agree with him in some aspect. I mean, I don't really know the details of the 49, but I do believe, yes, you do build on the dry fast as you go along. So every time you do a dry fast and you enter out of it, and then you go back, you have some time to adjust, right? To readjust, to reflect, allow your body, like your mind, to take in the things, you know, to have some realizations. And then you can absolutely, then you can build back on that. I see where he's coming from, is to give your body a bit of, is to go through and go into the natural state, allow the body to adapt that, and then give yourself a bit of a break and you know, drink something just to rest, because this journey is very, very tough until you get to a point where numbers don't mean anything. That numbers don't mean anything anymore. It doesn't matter how much you are fasting. Like, I've been given a divine pattern you know, that I've been working on, and I want to divulge it. It's the power of the number 9, of course. Okay, and I find I've seen a lot of people now, and I've worked with a few people, and I find that every soul is different. Everyone has a unique journey in this. And sometimes when you go on this journey, something's going to be realized within you, which is your own soul guidance in this. But you need to get your body cleaned up. But consistency and, you know, and being disciplined, being a disciple of yourself, you know, being the master of who you are, that is very, very important in this journey for the mind as well, to stay in a continual habit. And something like 49, what you're saying, I think that can work for people if that's where they want to go. What happens to the next stage? It really depends on so many things, Frederick. Like, you know, it depends on your environment, depends where you're heading, how deep you really want to go. Because when you go on this journey, you don't just take you on this journey, you take other people on this journey with you. And where are they? And how strong is your field strength? Like, how strong is your shield against all the different energies out there? How are you actually going through this? Are you going through the mind? So you're going through all the different realms in the other universes. You know, everyone's so different. And then you've got to look at your genetics and go back through your ancestry. There's a lot more in this than just being, okay, this is just going to work for me, or this isn't going to work for me. But if you start somewhere, if it is that 49-day system that you want to do, if you want to start somewhere and you'll feel your heart wants to go that way, do it, stay on it, be strong with it. And most of all, you need support. Very, very few people, I would say, can ever do this journey on your own, because it's not just about the physical, it's not just about the emotional releasing. It is more to do with energies and your body adapting. There are so many changes that go on that people, like, this is where people might lose it. They'll go back and they'll retract, and they may come back into it again, and they may not. But your soul always remembers the last dry fast that you've done. The body somehow remembers, and it will always pick up from the last one that you've done. And this is where I find the power really is in the cycles and patterns. Like, even when you do Fibonacci, right? If you really want to look at numbers, if you do a 9-day dry fast, you're not doing 9 days, just 9 days dry fasting. You're doing 3 to the power of 3. Okay, you're going into 21 days. You're going into, when you do the longer ones, you're going into expansion. You're going into the Fibonacci cycle. You're going into the spiral. So you see this happening to yourself. And I feel whatever number you pick, which I like 9, whatever number it is, it's one that is for you and for the people around you, souls around you. This is a very a lonely path, but you're not alone. So I don't know if I answered that question about the 49.
Yeah, exactly.
Properly.
And let me get some clarification. Meaning, it means if, for example, if I pick 9 days, I can do them as many as would allow me to flow, or just once. What are the periods in between? Things like that. I know I know there's not particular pattern, because from how we have already begun, I'm getting that this just flow. You just allow yourself to flow. Yeah.
There is something with this about the body, because people always say, oh, I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to listen to my body. Don't listen to your body if your body's completely blocked up. Honestly, if you don't want to have a real hard time dry fasting, make sure your bowels are clean before you go into a dry. They're just the basic 101 maybe in dry fasting. Make sure your bowels are clean. If you're going to do enemas, do enemas. If you're going to, get it done professionally, with your bowels, washing your bowels, get it done, because you will experience what they say, healing crisis or toxicity and things like that, because the mind is gonna feel pain and stuff like that. And I feel that you really need to wash yourself before you go in, and get onto liquids before you go in, then do your dry fast, and then you need to wash on the way out. And then lots of people, look, I find people are still going to eat whatever they're eating, but if you do the periods before and really, don't get yourself so blocked up, you're going to probably have a better time. And I fully 100% agree. Find a system that that works. Stick to that system to really, really clean your body out, have that support, because you're going to second guess yourself all the time if you're going to try and do this on your own. You're going to say, should I be taking activated charcoal? Should I be taking magnesium? Or should I, probiotics? Should I be doing this stuff, like, vitamins and minerals? And the thing in this journey is that when I started this journey and the soul guided me, I never went on for health reasons whatsoever for fasting. It was all about to be with the one within inside of myself. And the first thing I was told, do not read any books. Do not take any influence from outside. We will guide you internally. They found me a system that I used, and people can watch my story about what system I did utilize. And I went on a journey that Like I didn't know I was going to be dry fasting. And I didn't know that I was going on a journey of breatharianism. I didn't even know what breatharianism was. I was completely taken over. So my personal journey and some people's other personal journey is very unique to them. And me personally was all about opening up the heart. You've got to open up the heart through steps of gratitude, for example, deep appreciation, feeling the love, and then also surrendering into that everything, every pain that you have in your body, every headache that you might have. Lots of people have health elements, anything that's going on emotionally for you, you must do that. And you've got to have trust and faith, because what you're doing, you're going into the place of the unknown. So it doesn't really matter. Like you've experienced some things, Frederick. I'm sure some people have experienced some things here. You can't express or explain that to anyone until they actually fully have the experience themselves, because you go on a journey that is transformational, transcendental, that you will never ever turn back. And is it worth it? It is so worth it. Is it tough? Yes, it is tough. On this planet, it is tough. But how much are you willing to let go? How much are you willing to change your environment? How much are you willing to strip back? How much are you willing to do things? And what level do you want to experience this at? Because once the soul gets you on this journey, sometimes people will fear the light more than going towards the light, because you will feel it. You will feel the love and the compassion, the empathy, the joy, the willing that what you're doing, service for other people. You will feel it, and it will pull you. It will pull you. The magnetism will pull you. But not everyone's going to go with it, because it is a hard pull, and you really got to try and be kind to yourself. And if you allow the pure consciousness to come through you, Ranjeet, the little Ranjeet, or the little version of who you are, does fade into the background, and then we kind of merge together eventually. You must dissolve the conflict that's within you continually. You must die to yourself and resurrect a new being. And I love to talk about, obviously, lots of different things like celibacy and unification, which I'm going to talk about in Eric's group a lot. In our next topic, we're going to talk about unification of the male and female energies within inside of yourself, which is a miraculous thing. If you want to do telepathy and you want to do, levitation, all that sort of stuff, you've got to be living in ecstasy. You've got to be in orgasma, in an orgasmic state in every moment to go into that's a whole, that's an evolution in itself. But you need to take your steps, and you need to be kind to yourself. And this is a soul journey, a spiritual path when it comes to fasting. And fasting is just one element. This is one element of the whole evolution of your being and your technological form, because I believe we can live very, very long on this planet in the vessel that we have, if we're willing to respect ourselves and everything else around us on this planet. Oh, wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
There's a lot of people listening. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. There's a point you talked about just in the beginning on dealing with ancestral issues or generational issues. I think, how do we deal with these things? How do we deal with these things so that we clear them totally from us?
Yeah, I mean, we had an intention to be on this planet. Our soul had an intention to be on this planet, and then we kind of came forth. If we look at astrology, we kind of came forth, in some way, and I think definitely the physical aspects of the genetics and the DNA do play a part. And I always say to myself right at the beginning, when I first did my first 108 days, I said to myself, I am a master artist at releasing, because no matter what's coming through and up through you, it's not just about you. When you get over yourself, about healing your own body and all that sort of stuff, right? You get over me stuff, syndrome, you go into a world where it's about consciousness. And It's about past, present, and future, which is here now. And so when you start to go into the place of freeing yourself, you realize that you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for all your past generations, all the genetics. And that really becomes like an amazing experience, because even the body that you're in, everything has a memory in it. And your body will remember, like it remembers my 9 past grandmothers, it remembers, all that and everything that's happened. And I'm continually releasing all that. And some people may have a little bit more tough time genetically, but you won't always. You will get through it. There'll be a point where you will get through your own physical stuff, and you'll be going into generational stuff. It was really funny. I'll share an experience that I had, and is when I met Eve, like Adam and Eve, because I was talking to her a lot about the ancestral stuff. And I said, oh, do I need to do all this? Do I, like people talk about, stripping back the onion layer, going back and all this sort of stuff. She said to me, she goes, the only thing that you need to do is free yourself. When you free yourself, you will free all. Try not to go into the understanding of things so much, And I realized that when I was doing me, I could feel the freedom of my ancestry. You don't have to take on their burdens or anything like that. What you do is anything that comes up, if you see or feel anything, is that you need to rise it up and you need to pour love on it and then transcend it into a higher part of consciousness. You need to evolve it. And the more you keep doing that, the faster the releasing, and that goes through your body, and you can handle past ancestry stuff. So once you get through your own personal things, right? Trauma is what people talk about. I don't actually believe in the word traumas. I believe in the word that they're just experiences and events that happen in your life. There are clumps of thoughts. But, once you get through those things and you realize that this body isn't your body, you don't own this body. So you don't own anything. You're a vessel, you're just something that flows through. And once you surrender and actually give yourself over to the one that's greater in you, you don't do it. You literally don't do it. You're just allowing it to happen. You're allowing the process to happen. And the mind is such the biggest trickster in the world. It's the biggest trickster. It will trick you all the time. Like you will think you're talking to your higher self and you're talking to your mind. And you can always tell when you are in a state of your soul or your higher place, because everything is flow. And you know what? It's supposed to be effortless. It's supposed to be effortless. It is supposed to be easy, but we make it tough, complicated, complex for ourselves. Yes, you will go through ancestral stuff, but what you need to do is first start adapting your body and start releasing the stuff that's inside you first from this life that you're in at the moment. Then the other stuff will start to come back. So when you go into your childhood and all that sort of thing, you need to just be a master artist releasing it. And anything that's happened to you or all that sort of stuff, you don't own it. You don't own it at all. It's not yours. So in a way, it's like, get over yourself. This all ain't about you. It's about the bigger vision of the one that's inside of you, the divine one. And when you start releasing in that way, ancestry stuff becomes a lot easier. You don't have to understand it. And that's what Eve said to me, like it's not something that you need to just keep releasing and releasing and releasing and loving and loving and loving. And I had another experience too where when I first started to go on this journey, I saw my whole life on video. I did actually die to myself, and the watcher behind the watcher, held me while I watched all my events, and I cried and I cried. Okay, and you need to cry these things out. And so you can just feel more lighter and more empty. And when you do the emotional stuff and things like this, is that it actually becomes easier not to eat. Like, you don't think about food as much. Your relationship with food changes. There is no attachments to food. You know, you release that relationship with food, that means you're releasing a lot of other emotional detachments. You are becoming much more freer and much more fluid and much more in flow when you're doing that. So this is why this journey is such a journey of the heart and letting go and surrendering and being in gratitude, then the journey of numbers or how many days you've been dry fasting and all that sort of stuff. Because numbers, they disappear after a while, but patterns and cycles don't. Like, I could talk to you all about the new moon, full moon, season changes, how vital those gateways are when they're opened, you know, what happens to you. You know, like, I can actually talk to you about Christ time around Easter and what happens. I've done 3 of them now, and I was guided to do it. I can talk to you what happens in June season change. It's a powerful, powerful season change, that one. You get power flooding through you. I can talk to you about what happens in between the season changes. Like in May right now, we should be settling. If you've been dry fasting, cleaning out and doing this work, inner work, you should be sledding into a lot more realizations and things like that. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, when you go surrendering yourself into this, it definitely makes it a lot easier, and you just can't help but falling in love. You know what I mean? The love is just incredible. It's the most incredible experience, this journey, the journey of the heart. You know, I'm more nourished on loved, and my fluids inside of me in the limitless cosmic realms than I am nourished anywhere else that food could even give me. Food just denses you out. You know, it doesn't allow you to be the being that you're supposed to be. It doesn't allow you to really evolve your soul, because if you end up evolving your soul in the other worlds, evolve your soul here, do the good work here, go correct yourself of any mistakes that you made. It's not your fault, right? It's just the mind. It's just the mind. The mind has whatever it's done, and also the ancestors that are in that mind inside of you. It's not your fault or anything that's ever happened to you. You are the most beautiful being that you could ever be, and we all truly love you. But if you can get to this journey of emptiness and the place of nothingness and the place of full dissolvement, then the journey of fasting is so much more easier. And the journey of dry fasting and resting everything and meditation becomes easier. I do not practice meditation. I fall into meditation. You know, I can go off for 8 hours and I don't know where I've been. You know, so it's surrendering deep into that place. And your ancestors and all your beings and all the people, the angels and everything, they're all there to support you. You know, the all is there. The all is always there. And you've got some really, really beautiful people here, Frederick. You know, I can truly feel their hearts. It's so lovely. Thank you so much for the expansion in this place. It's beautiful. Wow, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
And is there a way, I realized you are Christian, so is there a way you pray as you're, like, when you are disassociating yourself with this ancestral, this, let's say, the powers that bring you down, that does not want you to go into this journey and this path? Is there a way of opposition, praying against this opposition, or protecting yourself as you ascend, maybe?
Yeah, and I'm just feeling hearts. Oh God, we love you so much. You know, the Christianity part of me was when I was born again, because my husband, not with my husband anymore for 20 years, but he was very sick. And then I'll tell you another little quick story to get to that part and the ascension, right, as you move up. So I was born in a Punjabi household, so my parents are Sikhs. I grew up in a Sikh church, singing and everything, and singing the Bible, the light, and everything like that. Christianity came about. It was about one time. It was about 18 months before I became born again Christian, and people might call this sleep paralysis or something. But this one time, 3 nights in a row, where a dark shadow would come and put a hand across my throat. I think other people might have had these experiences. I said, "You shall not speak. You shall not speak." And my husband rang a friend and said, "Oh, just say in the name of Jesus to be gone." And I did that, and it never ever came back. That dark shadow never ever came back. And then when we went, I was looking to help my husband to have some spiritual path for his illness. We went to a small church. It was kind of Pentecostal, very spiritual rather than, fully Bible based. And it didn't take me long before I got taken over. And that was a mystical experience. And as soon as I gave my life, at that time, to Jesus or born again, I saw my 3 beings with my physical eye. I didn't take too much note of it, but man, it was like, "What is this for real? Are these things for real?" Anyway, so they're like my angels, and there's still 3 that hang around with me. And then, we went through the path of lots of mystical things happen, like, the power of the love and stuff I start to feel, and I couldn't understand it. And so Jesus really came, the Christ consciousness became a living thing inside of me. And it just took me, a couple of decades to get to where I kind of am now. But when I started to fast, Christ became much more well known to me, more so. And I found that with Christ, what he taught me, that energy taught me, was with the ascension, was that not to go through my mind, but actually go through the portal of my heart. And as I went through the portal of my heart, the first time I flew in the universes, I was like cased in a bubble sort of thing. And I flew and we went straight to the divine. And Christ said to me, "Do not look down into the other realms, because I could see the screaming souls. I could see things, right? And I could see all like starseed stuff. I could see a lot of different things. But he said, look towards me and the light only, because once you turn around, it will grab you." And I actually ascended that way. And then when I kind of was fasting and all these things were happening, a lot of releasing, it was happening, as I call it, okay, I'm the queen of my palace. It's in one of my rooms. Or if you want to call it a realm, it's a realm. Lots of that stuff was really happening in that place rather than this world, right? Because we kind of realize the earth plane is the dreamland. This is the dreamland. The other worlds become more real, and you start to go there. And I found that in a way, I was given the key to the kingdom. So when I went kind of straight into the divine in a way, through the sun, because I am the sun. So through the sun, through the photonic light, and I went to places where I dissolved myself, where I came into the place of nothing. I call it the dead space, that you rise up through that. And then I descended back into my body, but I had the key. So I found that my field strength or my shield was much stronger than going through the other way, which is most people do. They'll go through the realms. So they'll go through the chakras and all these sort of things. And the other thing I was told when I started this journey, do not read any spiritual texts. Do not read anything. Do not listen to anything. We will guide you to whatever you need to listen to. And that there itself was such a blessing to me, because I didn't know anything about chakras, and I didn't know about levels, and I didn't know anything about 5 dimensions, 7 dimensions. I didn't know anything about that. It was just something I kind of start to realize by being in the universe, and sometimes you talk to people.
Let me interrupt you a little, because I've had an
Please.
experience as you're talking is now coming into my mind.
Mhm.
Have you do you still go, or it was just one time experience and it disappeared? Because for me, let me just give you a little story of mine. One time I found myself right at the seat of Christ. I was carried, I was carried, and I found myself in a room, and this room was so beautiful, glittering with a lot of light, gold on the wall. So I thought at that time, didn't know. At that time, I thought, oh, I'm in a White House or State House or some place of a king. So I thought it was a physical place at that time. So when later I realized, because I couldn't tell who are these people. So I found these people were are dressed the same. They are dressed in glory, and they're more of white everywhere. So I couldn't tell who is this and who is that. But then sometime later I realized that there's one who is like in a command, and it's like these are the beings are serving this one that is central. So I only had this once. I've never had it again. And he showed me some other things. Maybe it's your time today. You need to share. But it was exactly what you're saying, because I also saw this one that was down. There's something that he opened like a window, and I saw the world of darkness. I could see down the other side darkness, and he was telling me that is the seat of Satan. That darkness you see there, down there. But we don't want to go into that my story. It only happens to me once. So I wanted to know, how about you? Does it happen? Because you have this key now. I mean, that do you visit anytime you your spirit wills or feels like, and then you find yourself in the divine, or it is always it is like my experience once.
May I say something? Your experience once is sometimes you only need once, and it's already in the forever. And if you accept it and allow it to be a truth for you, you will carry that in your heart no matter where you go. I always say this: it's better to risk love than never to ever feel love at all. And it's better to risk the powerful force of love than to never ever feel that at all. You felt something so glorious, it activated something in you, Frederick, that no one, nothing, anyone can ever take away from you. We should talk about our spiritual experiences and mystical experiences, because you know what? They're normal. They're normal, and you should be having a lot more of them for sure. With that, the place that you talked about, joy, right? When you move your body into goosebumps and it becomes very, very electrical, and you start having, your own internal orgasms with the one inside of you, you move into those places in your kingdom, and you move into deeper levels of the power force of love, which you can't handle sometimes on this planet, as you know now. That you grow that, and the key thing I find in this journey is to always just let everything go. If you felt it once, release it, Frederick. Like, that's been an experience, but release that into the atmosphere. Release that and allow that to be for everyone. Because the more that, don't hold on to anything, nothing. That's why we go to the place of nothingness. That's why we go to the place of empty. This is why we move our bodies to empty as much as possible, so we can feel that power come flooding through us. When we give up everything of this world, sometimes, when we get completely stripped away and things move away from us, we go to the place of zero. We get to rebuild a foundation that is greater than the one that you think that was a foundation, because that little power that you would have felt would have just been on your pinky, right? But the power is much more greater than that. And this is why your vessel becomes a flow. A flow. You will receive more of this, Frederick, for sure, and so will everyone else, if you just have the ability to release everything. So even in the state of joy, you will feel the higher emotions of states of joy that you think you have never ever felt before, that you can't even remember that you felt this before. And you have to release those. When you have Kundalini experience, so-called Kundalini experiences, or those, the traveling up of, the men that's traveling up and having the great brain explosions and having all those portals open up. And for women, you're just living in this orgasmic state. You should be just always in ecstasy. Literally, all of us should be. When you're living in that place, there is nothing that can touch you. Nothing that can touch you, even when you're going through the realms. Nothing can touch you. You know, we fear the light more than anything else. You know, people think fear, fear, fear. That is the biggest fear, is that light, because it's something that pulls you back onto this planet, because the power is massive. You know, it's massive. Oh, so happy you had that experience, Frederick. I see you there. I see you there. That is just so beautiful, beautiful experience to sit, you know, next to the bright light and you know, and feel that power is an incredible, incredible love. I understand now, you know, why you do what you do. This is beautiful. You keep going, man.
Oh, thank
And
you.
like everyone else here, I love to talk to everyone else too, because it's just such a, this is fun. This is my joy. This is my joy with dry fasting. It really is. Dry fasting is the bomb, man. It really is the bomb. If you can get there, if it's even if you dry fast, like I've got this thing about the 9, even if you know, just shorten your eating window to 9 hours and dry fast on each side of those, is that, or even, you know, even if you just like, I'm designing a 9-day thing over the full moon where you do 3 days of liquids and you dry fast for 3 days and you have 3 days of liquids, you know, just do that 9 days. You do that every month over the full moon, like with Eric's group, you know, that 124 hours just to get to a dry fast. Your body will go there. It will go there, you know. It says to me, this is no relationship with food. Your whole world changes. You've got so much more energy and clarity, and anyone that comes near you, they just want to be with you, you know. There's so much love. There's so much love to give on this planet. Do you know, I only focus on love. If anyone ever goes onto my timeline, if they went into my soul group or whatever, you will find that I only talk about the thing that actually means the most. I won't talk about the things that are happening in the man-made world. I won't talk about pharmaceutical names. I don't talk about names of diseases or anything like that, because that's something that someone else has agreed to. Our bodies are either balanced or unbalanced. That's it. Because if you're getting some disease or something's happening, or, you know, turmoil in your body, it's just that your body's unbalanced and affects everything else. It affects all your organs, affects everything. But when you really, really know the fountain of youth is your own fluids that are in your body, that your glands are excreting this beautiful oil, and you know that is your youth, and it rebuilds you, you know, you don't need proteins or anything like that. When you really, really know, there is nothing or no one or anyone that says to you that will ever change your mind. It can't. It can't. And when you walk, I do a lot of night walking because I love being in the cosmos. And then when you feel that you are connected to the ocean and the moon, stars and planets, and you go into ecstasy, and then when you move into ecstasy, you merge into that you become that, you are that. And how that happens is through your energy body or your light body. And then you start singing sounds of light. Become one. And this is where nourishment wasn't about food or dancing you out. Nourishment was about giving you wisdom. Wisdom, knowledge, and then understanding. And when we have wisdom, we become wise. And when we become wise, we come to serve you so that we can help and support and serve you to evolve your souls. So you can have the best human experience. We have sight, taste, smell, sounds, everything, the wind. We don't see the wind, but we feel the wind against our skin. And when you have those sensations and you live in an ecstatic form, you never ever feel wind like how you used to feel wind. You never ever see or be with a tree like how you used to see and be with a tree. You never ever walk on the grass barefoot like how you used to walk on the grass barefoot. You become connected, and you become connected to everything and everyone, every being in all time, past, present, and future. All these things come to you, but you just release them, and you just allow the love and that power to flow through you. Because I tell you, if you come and hug me, it's just not going to be a hug, is it? It's going to be something very, very powerful in the heart, and expanding in one another. Wow, man. This is so good.
Wow, it's flowing. I'm feeling like I'm flowing.
Don't you feel free? Don't you feel free? I know. So yummy. So yummy. Oh, man. I say to myself, I said in the last one, I'm a resurrected virgin. I haven't had penetration for over 8.5 years. And for the women, when you start healing the womb, and I'm not saying that you never have to have sex again. Don't say that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is when you come into the place of purity in your body and you realize and you flow in the true ecstasy in the divine, man, it's such a different experience. It's such a different experience. You've got the power. You walk around in the powerful force of the divine. Nothing touches you. Nothing can touch you. You've got a force field around you. Nothing can. Because if the man on the planet's not looking after the planet because it should be focused and, the men really ground us, the divine looks after us. It will coat us. The male and female energies are very, very powerful. And when you combine them together, they're just incredible. It's such an incredible experience. So much love there. That's a feeding in itself. Oh, keep going. I love this flow.
And I think there's the role of the song, the role of music, singing, especially yourself. Because I see it repeatedly. Sometimes you find yourself and you just get into singing. Is it part? Does it help us in the journey? Song.
Well, yeah. So sound creates the colors of light. So sound is the first wave motion in the universe. This is how sound will have the explosion, and then the light comes. It's like women are forever with their wombs, are always giving birth. So you're just always exploding out. And same with the man, if going to sperm and egg and stuff like that, when they come together, it's a space, the space between the two energies, right? I'm not going to go into sound in a minute. The space between the two energies is where just before the sound hits, the explosion happens, before you come into creation. It's that space that you sit into the nothingness. But once you connect, just before you connect and you feel the power come in, is when the explosion happens, and it's powerful, right? It's incredible. But sound, what it does, it helps to center everything, because some people can't, say, sit and meditate, for example. I'm not a sit-down meditator. I can fall into meditation and be gone. But if I sing, it gives me down to one sound, and I feel more centered, and it just allows me to go in deeper into my ecstasy and into my heart, because I know that the sound is not me. It's from, it's from all time, from the all, and the sound just gives me such joy and such a blessing. And it also, when you talk in tongues or talk light language and things like that, we know that is the language of God. And see, language here has been so, as it's suppressed and limited. But when you're talking in those ways, sound and that type of language, you're talking a whole different universe that's beyond this earth plane. And sound will always center you, and you feel the essence inside you expand even more. You feel connection to everything. absolutely everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've now seen the purpose of air. You now talked about sound, which I didn't know we are going to go this way. And then there was light. You also talked about the sun. And at that point, it just left. I didn't ask a question. Due to the sun gazing, because I also realized that there's a path. I'm told there's a path. You have already said it here. There's a path that connected. Just a minute. Somebody else. Yeah, let me mute the person. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I was talking about sun gazing. Yeah.
how can we get this connection? This gate that is in the sun. How do we get this connection? Because I think that goes with the light.
The sun. Yeah. Okay. All right. I've got a different. My guidance is a little bit different to most people sometimes. I believe I am the sun. I am the photonic light. It's because the sun lives inside of me. So I produce the light that goes out because I am the sun. I don't do sun gazing. I look at during the day, I look at the plants, trees, and everything around me, and I get so much light fed into me. I've got so much light in me. I've got so much light to give out of me. I did sun gazing when I did raw food. I think it was back in mid 2000 when David Wolf became, a lot more known then. And I did 2 years of raw food. And I did some sun gazing then. You do in the morning, you do at night, and you allow the light to come in and all that sort of stuff. I think it's a tool that people can utilize on the path, to get more energy and stuff into them, because the sun does hold a lot of power and energy. I am the opposite. I go out in the dark and I don't feel, for me now, I need the sun so much as other people. It does energize you. I think for males, it's really interesting how I always hear a lot of men always talk about the sun because they are the son of God, they are the sun. So I hear a lot of men that do that, and I think that is true and a great tool for a lot of people that are on this path. If you want to do some sun gazing, go for it. I don't. Women, if you want to do some sun gazing, go look at flowers and trees, and that you will get the sun coming into your eyes. It's not going to be as harsh. And I live in Australia. The sun here, not saying that's a fault or anything, but it's very strong, the UV lights. They can affect people here, not, especially if you are toxic and, and you've got a lot of things to release out of your body, it can affect you, the UV lights. Skin can get burnt and things like that. But as you go on the journey, obviously, you don't have those issues much so like being in the sun. But I think it's
now as a son, as a person who you are the one generating the light. How do you allow this light to, like it said in the Bible, let your light shine? So how do you allow this light to shine so that these things that are obstacles to it are taken off? The things that blocks this light to be seen or to be felt to the other people. I get you now very well. I've gotten your point very well. That's why I've shifted from sun gazing to now me as a sun now, as the light. Exactly. Yeah.
I think, okay, so we all agree that we live in limitless possibilities. It doesn't have to be one answer to something, right? There can be, that's why we're unique in our souls, and many people teach in different ways. But sometimes you can follow a plan or a path that someone else has done before, and that can work for you, right? And you can adapt your body until you get into your own ways of doing things. I am here, I think, on this planet to really be a possibility of love, and to be in love with love, and that everything is possible, not which way, you can have it suddenly, all things can happen. But I Christ kind of showed me I was the sun already. And that I'm the one that portrays the light, more so than Ranjit can, the little Ranjit can, And if I stand in that and walk in that, then my light is possibly be able to expand greater than I can even imagine, just not even just on this planet, but also in the other universes, and also past, present, and future. I have to walk in that faith and surrender in that. And I find what happens, yes, the universe will walk with me and walk in front of me and move blocks out of the way for me in order for me to flow, so they can, funnel through me a lot more easier. And the more I do that, and the more trust and faith I do that, and realize that all my needs are already met, there is nothing I need to really seek outside, that it's already done for me, then that makes it a lot easier to shine the light through. And I know we can all glow, and I know manifestation can happen instantly. And it's just a matter of really being aligned and being in your heart more than anything else. Because you can go through the sharp, like there's like thousands and thousands of portals in your body you can enter into. I can talk about the ocean. We talk about the land and the stars and the moon. The ocean on this earth is incredible. It's very untouched. And light flows through the ocean. Like, when you walk, if you walk in the dark, everything, if you're walking in light with inside of yourself, everything else becomes brighter. You see things brighter, you become brighter. It's interesting. Sometimes, Frederick, I don't even get it. I sometimes like, why is this wisdom being shown? It's because it's the right timing for people to hear this. It's taken me 3 years, a little bit, to come out. I'm still very shy in some ways. I don't really go out on YouTube a lot, as you can tell. And I love the magnetism. I like things to come to me when it's ready, and to be in that state of flow instead of trying to pushing it. So that's just how I kind of operate a lot more. And I do have people that seek me out sometimes, and I'm still not ready, in some ways. But when you're a woman, living in the Western world, and you're living very close to the natural state, there's very few people will come out. There wouldn't be many of us for sure, but and if there is there's very few people come out, because I've already, even in my little small time, I've been ridiculed and accused, and lots of things have happened. People don't believe you, so that, like, not that you want them to believe you or anything, but there's a lot of things that happen, and this is why you've got to build up your field strength, and you've got to build up your light that's inside of you, because when you go out there, into the man-made world, there's a lot of eyes on you, and people, if you haven't had the experiences, it's very, very difficult to really understand from the program mind, because it does not seem possible, but it is possible, and people have been living it for thousands of years already. So it's not new, it's just been suppressed for a very, very long time. But it's you have to grow the light inside of you. You have to grow the light and the love inside of you. And you've got to, not only you've got to grow it, you've got to walk in it as well. And you've got to be strong in it. That's why I love dry fasting. It's very powerful. It's very, very powerful to empty your body as much as you possibly can and allow the light to come through. It's very powerful. one of the most incredible human experiences I've had so far.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, oh,
We have people here. There's so many people here. If you have questions, if you have comments, please, it's open. It's open. Somebody asked sometime in the chat if we'll be able to ask questions.
yeah.
And Rajit, if you get connected with any soul here, just open up and talk to them.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
I will. Anybody you want anything,
Yes.
just ask. I'm here. You
Mm.
can ask any question you like. There is no judgment. We're not in the mind, we're in the heart. It's all about unconditional love. Feel free to ask anything. Yeah, even if you want to ask anything personal of me, it's okay too. I'm fine with that.
I also wanted to just put in an addition. This is a journey, the way you have said it. It's not something that happens once. It has taken you time. Time. And you talked about there's something that you have talked about, which I didn't want to go so much into, but I'm comparing notes.
Yes, that's okay.
Celebrity. This way of living, like just living alone. It makes the journey become a little more easier. Not that we are encouraging people to leave, to go and divorce or to not to marry. No. But it's like it makes the journey becomes a little easier. So now I understand why maybe Christ did not have to get a wife. Now I get that reason. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I started my journey, I was around people. When I was fasting at the beginning of my journey, I was around people. I've spoken to many different people that have got children and they were fasting and they did it. They were working and they were fasting. They're able to do it. So it really comes down to your mind also has to be strong, right? So you need a strong, resilient mindset as well. And most people do say if they go alone and do it alone, it's a lot easier. And some people say that it's not. But I find that the majority of people that I've ever conversed with, you don't really have support, right? You don't really have your family or your friends support you. If you do, you are very blessed. You are really, really blessed because I would say nearly 90% of people I've ever spoken to on this journey, they don't get the support from their family and friends. They start to dissolve away. The ones that get left behind are the ones that, on this journey with you. But the other thing too, a lot of people will talk about fasting from a physical aspect. So when you talk to your family and friends, you might talk about, fasting is common now, it's scientifically proven. Yes, you can fast for 3 days. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of information out there. You can water fast. There are clinics around the world, like in America, like the Russian doctor. There are clinics that do help with fasting, but technically 3 days is what's scientifically proven. And, in the world here. So you can talk to people from that aspect. But when I used to talk to people, I used to say I do spiritual fasting. And for some reason, that worked. That worked for me. Okay, I say I'm having a spiritual fasting day, which is always at night. And people tend to leave you alone around the new moons, full moons, and season changes because they know, Ranjeet's fasting. Well, So you've got to sort of be, I would say, in the mind, you've got to play the chess game a little bit, because people aren't going to understand you, and you want to tell the truth. Like you want to say, look, wow, look what I'm feeling. Look what's happening to me. Oh, wow, look, oh my God, you've lost so much weight. Oh, look at your skin. You're looking younger. Look at this and that. And you want to share with them. And you might even share a little bit, but they're still never, ever fully going to understand unless they have the experience. Until you actually have the experience, and then you can communicate in that way. But I find most people probably do intermittent fasting or something like that, or you can talk to them about that. I've helped people to go on intermittent fasting for health reasons, and but I think as you go deeper into your spiritual path, you find you have very few people around you because your energy is very, very high. And most people find it hard. You trigger others, right? So it becomes a challenge. But all I always say, in all the answers, love is always the right answer. And allow people to be where they're at. Don't try and convince them or do anything like that. They'll look at you, and if they want to know, they'll probably ask you some questions. But you know what? Just, be delicate with it and be kind to everyone else around you. Don't try and force what you're doing onto someone else. This is your journey. And in that way, it is something that's alone. It is your journey and your spiritual journey, and you deserve to have that. You're worth it. You're definitely worth it. But most people do say, Frederick, sometimes it is a little easier doing it on their own. But we've got people that look after kids and cook for other people, and I'm going to say to those people, you can have it too. You can have this journey as well.
And even for the married, because I also think there's a verse here in First Corinthians 7:5. It's very common with that we fast together. When we break together. Let me just read the whole thing. It says like this.
Yes.
Defraud ye not one another. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that you give yourself to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your inconsistency. I can't read that word clearly. Inconsistency or inconsistency, I don't know. So the idea is, even as the married couple, you can have your journey, you can have your time. It's not that now for you it's totally closed, you can't go this journey. all of us have a chance, but now you have to agree with your partner, you have to agree with this person you live with, so that you can go this journey together. And obviously experiences will not be the same, but the fasting time should be somehow you should do it together as a couple.
Definitely, if you can do it together, you evolve together, you grow together. But with my husband, when I started fasting with my husband, and he was very, very supportive. He said, if that's what you want to do, you feel free to do it. And he was actually really, really supportive of me fasting. And I did say, like if you don't grow involved together, there is that risk, right? And depending how people's relationship are, and I want to honor him for supporting me. And because my spiritual path it just took over. I had no choice, basically, even before I started fasting. I remember I did a 21-day water fast in March 2018. And, it wasn't good, the actual water fast. My body wasn't really prepared for it. But I felt the love, right? And this is when I went, okay, I need to go further. I don't know what's going on, but I was just getting pulled. So I was already being activated and taken over. And then I just allowed the flow to happen. And that's when my soul said to me, no, you're going to do this system because you're going to dry fast. And I didn't even know what dry fast really was. So, but then, see, that's what happens. You see, like in this journey, you get pulled. And I think if you have a partner that you do it together, that is the most beautiful experience that you can ever have. And there's compromises and things that do happen for sure. But in the sense of the soul, this is your soul. It's your soul sovereignty. And sometimes you're going to have to, do whatever you need to do in order what to do to try and make, to do it, to get it to evolve, because you don't want to cross over and evolve your soul over there. You want to do it here. You really want to you want to have experience with the divine one here. You do more than anything. And this can also help your partner, because everything just blossoms much more so in unconditional love, And sometimes people can't handle your love either, People can't take it. So many times I've laughed and laughed and laughed and like, people can't take it. They just don't feel worthy of it. You know, they don't resonate with it, they don't feel worthy of your love. So that can happen too, which can be a different aspect to this journey, because it's just so powerful, you know. But if there are many people that have been on this journey with partners and they have gone through it and blossomed their relationship even more so, you know, that is amazing to be with someone and go through this journey and have divine connection with each other. It's incredible. That's a really good question. I love that. I love that.
Wow, thank you. But the soul journey is just individual journey. Thank you. It's very clear. Very clear. Mm. So people, if you have questions, if you have comments, please ask them. It is our time with Ranjeet on this issue. It's our time.
Yeah.
Some people are just
Please.
coming in now. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, there's people coming in and out. I see that. Oh my God, it's so beautiful that you all are here. You know, thank you for your presence and your light. This is an opportunity for you to ask anything you want while I'm here. I don't know how long I do these interviews for.
As people are prepared to ask, let me ask another one. At a point, you talked about talking to Eve. I didn't get it clear. So how does that happen? I didn't get that one yet.
It's a suddenly, right? It's like I was just asking a question about ancestors a lot because I just heard these information from other people. You've got to go through your ancestors, da 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 da. And one thing about me, even with my personality of Ranjeet, because the Ranjeet's still here, so the little Ranjeet, the little Frederick's still here, and we've got free will, so we have choices. So we choose a little bit in this. And I used to be very demanding and I used to command a lot through this journey as well. And the Eve didn't come about because I wanted the answer to the question about ancestors. And I thought, how far can I go back to what ancestor, the ultimate ancestor, which is Eve? Like, how far can I go back? And that's what I did. Because, like, if I go back into my generation of my family, Indian, North Indian, Persian, okay, go to Greek, so like when you go right back, through my ancestors, like, I even met Alexander the Great, in the realms because I wanted to find out some things about myself, and so yeah, it happened very, very quickly, and basically I went through my heart and it just popped me into the realms, the rooms, and there she was. And she was in a light body, not in a physical form like this. And she's very, very motherly, very nurturing, a bit like a divine mother. And bang, and it's instant, it's telepathic. And then you just go back into your body again after that. And then you go, wow, okay. Very, very, yeah, it's
wow.
when it's amazing. It's never left me. The wisdom never leaves you once you receive it and get activated in it. It never ever leaves you. You go, okay, yeah. You don't have to worry. You don't have to spend years and years and years on this path to learn. If you want to fast and to open up your heart, it doesn't have to be something has to be years and years. It can be spontaneous freedom. Spontaneous freedom, and that is happening a lot now to a lot of people. The thing with fasting and emptying the body is it just allows the power of love to flow through easier. It just allows that love to come through and heal. Like if you want to heal your body and all that sort of stuff, that's what it does. We are already whole and healed. We are already whole, and that's the thing I do with people that message me this and that, whatever they do. I can only talk about love. I can only see you from a place of that you are completely whole. I can't see you from another place. I can't see that. If people want to, empty their body and dry fast, I can only see that you are living in the place of light and emptiness and that you are living in a fasted lifestyle. I can only see you pure and clean. I can't see you any other way. I just can't see it. You know, people tell me about their problems and issues and challenges. I've had many people that want to commit suicide, that message you and stuff like that. I can only see them whole and healed. I can't see them any way. I have no right to see them any other way, but that they are pure. Because I, the one inside of me, which is the one inside of you, we can activate that to be the truth. You know, we can see that to be the truth, not the truth of the mind, but the truth of the heart, the truth of your essence, the truth of your life, how you're meant to experience life on this planet. You know, you can have lots of things and change. Your life can just completely change, can be completely transformed very, very quickly. But if you have a really good partner, like you were talking about, that's amazing to do that together because you hold each other accountable, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone has a question, Steve. Svetlana. Hey, what do you recommend to open heart more and develop heart better?
Oh,
What do you recommend
yes.
to open heart more and develop heart better?
Yep. It's the one thing I think I love so much, which is gratitude. So I would not put my feet on the ground when I rise in the morning or whenever I rise, because sometimes I can go to deep meditation and arise, until I'm in the deepest sense of gratitude in my body. You know, that I appreciate my toes, I appreciate my skin, I appreciate the fact that I can walk, I appreciate that I can, you know, if you've got shoes, if you're wearing shoes, I appreciate I've got shoes, I appreciate that I've got a roof over my head, I appreciate that I'm healthy, that I am whole. I really, really open that gratitude up, that deep sense of appreciation, appreciate that I'm alive, appreciate that I can feel you, the divine one in me. I appreciate all that. My mind will not go anywhere else until I'm in my presence. Anything that you need to forgive or release or whatever, I appreciate that I can release that person. I can release this. I'll just go through certain things, even through the day. I do it a lot. If I find I go back into my mind, I'll get back into gratitude, because gratitude is it's like the milk of the honey. You know, it's the glue. It's the thing that just is such a beautiful, beautiful emotion, a beautiful movement of love. Gratitude is, because when you appreciate that, you're appreciating the divine one in you. You're appreciating you got life on this planet. You're appreciating, you know, having the experiences. You're going to appreciate, you know, when you engage with someone, you're going to appreciate the other person's light and presence on this planet. So gratitude, something that is the one thing I was kind of shown to be very, very powerful in opening up the heart. Before I even went on this journey, Savetta and others here, I did gratitude journal before gratitude became popular. So many, many, many years ago, I was shown, you know, I need to appreciate everything. I appreciate that my parents gave me life, even if, you know, for some people you may not have had the best parents. You know, I appreciate my older sibling, because if it wasn't for my older sibling, I wouldn't be here. You know, there's lots of things I do I appreciate that the water runs through the tap. I appreciate that when I was stripped away and I left my husband and all that sort of stuff was taken from me, and I appreciate that I could hug a tree. If I could hug the being of a tree, and that tree gave me love back. I didn't have any humans around me to appreciate me, but I could hug a tree, and I appreciated that I still had the capacity to love. That I still had that capacity. Gratitude is one of the biggest things I think can open up the heart, and you need to be sometimes disciplined in it. I appreciate that I can do acts of kindness. You know, when you give to someone else greater, more than you can give to yourself, you're actually giving to yourself. I appreciate that energy comes back in the infinity loop when you are giving in service. I appreciate right now that every one of you are here, and I appreciate all your questions. I'm in such deep gratitude of your presence and light. That's how you open up the heart. For me, anyway, in my experience, gratitude is one of the best.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Powerful, right?
And when you have that love, you know, today this has just changed me totally. Today, there's how opening channels or what all those things, everything that we're talking about. As you have it, you give it. That's exactly what I've gotten today. Service. If you have this love that is overwhelming, give it out to those people who don't have it outside there. They are in their hearts. They're in darkness of that. So at a point, it's like we may not even have a love that we can't hold, because there are so many people who need it outside there so much. When it's overwhelming me this side, I've already tapped it. I'm already a channel. It should be a channel that flows, not the one that is blocked. This is what I stood. I'm telling you the truth from my heart. This has totally changed me. I can't be going taking, and not giving. So it will be taking, giving, taking, giving. Thank you. I really appreciate it too. I really appreciate it too. So anybody who has any questions, please.
Yeah, there's nothing better when you can give a hug, right? Or there's nothing better that you can give something to someone else that they didn't expect. Do you know, every single human being that you will meet, they're in their mind. And when they're in their mind, they perceive that they are suffering. And just in that moment, you can give a smile, you know, or give love, but really feel it from your heart, and you are able to do that unconditionally. That's because the divine one's living through you. And appreciate that you can give. Yeah. Thank you.
Someone else, please, if you have a question, if you have. So, Elizabeth, at a point, I think wanted us to talk about abstinence. So I think she wrote something like speak the abstinence or something like that. Abstaining or abstinence.
So abstinence, like from food or from physical sex, or abstinence just in general, do you think,
I think
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, if you're around, Elizabeth is around. Elizabeth, maybe you'll let us know exactly what this is. It general or specific abstinence?
You know, the one thing about
she's there.
I'm here.
Oh, I hear you.
I'm here. The problem that I have is I've never been a Zoomer. This is like my second Zoom in history. And so every time I get on, I don't know exactly where to go for the chat, but I'm getting it. So I think you mentioned either abstinence in the beginning. You said you would talk about that. Yes, of course, we're abstaining from food, but is it abstinence from physical exchanges? Yes, sexual exchanges. During the fast, is it not just water, not just food, but also that contact? So my question was, is that necessary to enhance the fasts?
That's a very good question. You know, I can't give you a black and white answer, right? But I find like there's two things that really take you depth in this journey for me personally, in my experience, right? Is when you abstain yourself from consumption of anything, food and water. And if you do, and I don't know if people got partners or whatever, it's just a personal journey, really is. But if you abstain yourself from lust and physical penetration, I'm not talking about affection, but physical penetration, I find that you move deeper into the one inside of yourself. If that's the experience that you want, if that's you want to go into depth into that, you move deeper into your soul. You find that you actually, you know, even just to be in like blindfolded meditation and not having, you can't even see and all that sort of stuff, you know, you start to go into relying on the one inside of you more and more and more, and you start to release a lot more and more and more, and you tend to face your mirrors more and more and more. So when you strip away most things, like you strip away from all needs, and the only need that you realize that you require is just the one inside of you, the light inside of you, that becomes more present and more whole inside of you more. The more that you strip away and become abstinent of all things, that because everything else is a stimulation. You know, it's not just about food, it's about watching TV, it's about, you know, talking to people, you know, all that is a form of stimulation. But when you refrain from a lot of those things and you go into nature and all that sort of stuff, you kind of become more connected, deeper within inside of yourself. But that's not for everyone though, because you need to be kind to yourself, because, you know, some people, you know, if you're not ready for this journey, you just need to take it a little bit slower, because you don't really want to truly, maybe even, you know, if you haven't got a strong mind, I think I mentioned it before, you do really need a strong mind in this journey, because you want to still feel, you know, the mind still wants to feel safe, right? So you need to be kind to your mind as well, and allow the little Elizabeth, you know, to love on her as you're going in this journey. So maybe abstaining in stages for yourself and be guided by your soul. It's just like at the food journey, you release as you slowly go, because, you know, I believe, Elizabeth, already you've been on this path for a little bit, right? Letting go of many things. And it seems like you want to go deeper to me. And it's just sort of finding, you know, the right, you know, when you're ready to do that. But if you're ready and you feel your soul to let go of certain things, even if it's just for a period of time, you know, I say take the chance. You know, if you can do it and you're able to do it and you're still loving and kind on everyone, including yourself mostly, I reckon go for it. I abstain from physical sex and affection before food. Lust is a huge one to really let go. If the world can let go of a lot of that stuff, then a lot of the things in the world would probably change very, very quickly, very, very fast. You know, you wouldn't have a sex trafficking as much and things like that. And this is why I really kind of believe when you move your body into more light and love, you change the earth can change very, very quickly, very fast by going that way. I hope, did that answer your question, Elizabeth? Please feel free to dig deeper if you want to. And maybe I'll confirm for you.
No, I think it's good. No, it's not a problem. I think you did answer my question, because what I've been doing is not eating, but then not drinking. So I'm abstaining from alcohol, and then the physical exchange, and limiting my contact with those who might arouse that in me. And so it's and I know I'm stronger in the mind. I know I'm capable of going beyond. But that I'm just asking if that's the additional thought that one must have. It's not just, okay, I'm not going to eat, or I'm not going to drink alcohol, but I'm also not going to have sugar. Oh, okay, I'm not going to have sex either. You know, instead of seeing it as I'm not going to, but how am I going to use this time of ridding myself of the negative energies?
Oh my God, yes, sweetheart. Oh yeah, you got it in you. You are a very strong lady. It's just a matter of like, okay, and like you said, I think you said it, you're not just giving up anything. It's the opposite. you're gaining everything. You're gaining everything. Because people think, oh, like surrendering, right? I love surrendering. People think that surrendering is, oh, you're giving up something. No, man, like you are gaining everything. You are getting so much more abundance, limitless possibilities of abundance and pleasure. And, there's so much there, you know. The thing is, the mind will always try and trick us to say, I'm giving up something. I'm not saying this just because of you. I'm just talking generally, right? Because people think that, because most people will have what's called a poverty mentality, right? So when you're letting go and you're giving up things, they go, oh, no, I've got to hoard, I've got to keep, I've got to do this. But when you abstain when you abstain of all things, you're going through a process of letting go of so much. Like you do something like, food and, and liquids and all that sort of stuff. Man, do you see the domino power effect of that? It's like you will stop consumerism, you will stop all health agencies that are man-made right now, because you will get healthy, then you'll have more energy, and then you have clarity, and then you start being a creator of how you are. You are creation, you are creator. Then you start working in your, through your own soul guidance and purpose or whatever it is at that time. Then you're becoming more happiness and joy just from giving up, not giving up, but just letting go of food and consumption, just that thing alone, and all the emotional attachments that come to it. And even if you do it slowly and go through different levels, you'll feel depths anyway. Like, do people really realize, like, you don't have to go shopping anymore, and you don't have to buy as much toilet paper, and you don't do all the chemical stuff that goes along with that. And when you meet people, you start to have different conversations. Like I remember in my old life, like you meet people, all they ever do is talk about food, stuff like that. And it's like, really, like, what did you have for dinner last night? All that effort and work that goes to preparing 3 meals. And then there's fights in the kitchen. One of the things my husband and I end up doing, because I wasn't eating, there was no kitchen fights. There's no toilet fights. There's no, all that sort of stuff just dissolves.
But the one thing that I find myself doing that I don't like is I'm pulling away from people who focus on food, and I'm turned off. I know that sounds, and I feel judgmental, but I'm turned off because it's every moment of time with them is food, a recipe, food, consumption, shopping, buying, and I no longer get the thrill. The thrill is gone. So now if I need a new pair of shoes, I'll buy them, but I don't need all those things. I have enough. I'm not a minimalist, but I have enough to make it through. I'm completely satisfied. And I'm also concerned about my future, concerned in that I'm thinking, how much of this money am I wasting? Will I regret this? All of these things that I've purchased, where are the investments? Where's the future for me? And so I'm having to say no to things that before at some point in my life were important. But now the shopping, as you say, the food, yes, we eat, I buy food, but I'm not buying so much food that food is no longer my priority.
Yeah, I could definitely answer some parts of that question for which will help a lot of other people. So I really appreciate you coming forth with that. Is that, the key thing in this journey is always being in the presence and the now, and really trusting the flow will take you to the future. Concern is a mind word, which is more about worried, or it's even a fear, right? Because it comes from the mind. If you break it all down, there's a fear of something, fear of not maybe having those relationships again. I still have relationships with my family, and there's still people that I love and care about that eat food around me. But you know what? It doesn't it doesn't affect me anymore. Like you'll get to some levels where love is greater. Love is greater in this journey. It doesn't mean that you have to eat with them, or you can have different conversations with them. You know, they also need to be accepting of your spiritual path and the path that you're on just as much as you are of theirs. But, you know, the funny thing that really happens is because when you trust in the universe more, things just tend to, you know, flow a lot better. Like with my parents, for example, you know, they're not on this journey, whatever. And, but you know what? I'll go watch, I don't want to watch it, but I'll go watch Indian drama movies with them because that's their world. So I give myself their daughter to them for a period of time because I love and care about them, that I will enter into their world. But as I'm watching and everything that I'm doing, I'm transmuting everything into love. Like, what's the reason I'm there for? The reason I'm there for is to have some great communication while my parents are still here and present with me in the physical form, that I can allow them to love me and I can love them back just in that moment of the now and the presence. And I focus on that more, to expand that more, because I have the capacity to see my mind and their minds, that I can observe all that I'm able to love, even though that their world is not reflective completely of my world. But I love and care about them so much, you know what? So I'm going to love on them in their world. I'm going to love on them in their world. And as I walk around and, you know, talk to people, like I always say to people that have known me for a while, can't hang out with me for a day, you need to hang out with me for a week, because I'm actually a lot of fun. I have a lot of joy in this journey. You know, things is as they are, but the one thing I can do, I can move in my body, like we talk about Jesus with the people. You know, you move in your body to show something that's unconditional love. I still accept you for who you are and where you are and what you're doing, even though I don't have to like it. For me, the little Ranjeet doesn't like it. But I'll accept all that because I love you and love is greater. So that's the way I think, you know, because we do care about people in this world. And most people are stuck in their minds and they're stuck in their ways of doing things, and we just accept that for what it is. Doesn't mean that we have to lower our energy to that level, but we just allow it to be, and we just move from a place of emptiness and unconditional love. And I find that works better for me. I've had many challenges, like, you know, lots of people talk to me about. I've had all of them. And this is why I'm kind of happy as a woman that I did this in the Western world, because my empathy is so much great, because I understand what everyone actually really truly goes to. I'm glad I didn't go and put myself up in the mountains and do this on my own. I'm glad, I really appreciate, and so much love and gratitude that I was able to do it here, because if I can do it here, then I speak to you, all of you, then I can help you, right? I can support you, I empathize, I have compassion for it. I get it. I get it. I get it as a woman. I get it as someone that's in your, most likely your generation. I get it. I had a career. I get it. You know, I've got, you know, 48 cousins around me. I get family. I get conflict. I get, you know, all sorts of things. I get the fact that we care and love about all our people around us, as you know, as we are, and we still can love, even though we don't like it. I like how you use the word don't like it. You don't have to like it, but we can still love. Oh, that's such a good question, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh.
Wow.
So what you're saying, great explanation. Keep the body and mind, soul clean. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Do you have anybody else with a question, please? Somebody has a compliment, maybe a compliment or something you just want to add on. Okay.
No, nothing. Wow. Come on, people. I love you.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Even if you want to give me, I want to hear your voice.
yeah. Somebody came in. Let me ask. Let us hear the voice of Odea Yamini. Odea, the last person was just got into the meeting. So welcome and maybe greet us, Odea Yamini.
I wanted to just also
Oh,
say
Elizabeth.
something.
Mm.
This has come through the days. Different messages come across. It is a fasting group that we're in, but there are other needs that people have. And I just want to say, for those who have reached out, it's okay to ask or to make comments outside of fasting. I think we're fasters, but we're more than that. There's more to each and every one of us than just the fast. And so if something's going on, please understand that it's okay to talk about it. And it's much more important to talk about what's going on than to focus on the fast and ignore whatever you're feeling, if you're feeling something. And I say this because when I hear someone say, this is going on, that's going on, this hurts, that hurts, that's more important, because once that's eliminated, then you can get to the fast, or you can get to whatever exercise that you're trying to get to.
Very good. This is a process of releasing, and we can release in so many different ways. And most, so, you know, I'm going to be general here. Sorry, but most women release by talking. And if you can get the suppression out and get that out, however you can do that, and if it is talking or releasing in that way, it's powerful, because then you can get down to the core of what this journey is really about. You know, it's about your own spiritual depth and part in this. Fasting becomes easier when you are more releasing. You know, the more you are releasing anything that's coming up, because I find that people just want to be understood. You know, can you get me? Do you understand what I'm going through? Can you appreciate this? You know, this is what's happening in my life, you know, and I just want to get this out. I just want to say, get it out. Like, some people can run, one of the beautiful ways, if you're on your own, is to journal, you know, to write things down, and you can go burn it and stuff like that. There's so many different tools you can use for releasing and letting go, because this journey is about that. It really is about letting go of the programmed mind and going and renewing the mind and becoming stronger and resilient within yourself and living your human experience and your potential. But yeah, it's more than just fasting. Fasting is a physical aspect of the body, and we can adapt the body through that process as well. Then you've got emotions that you deal with, and then you must live in the observed state no matter what. Gratitude is a way to get you there. You must living in through the heart and go into the observed state. Be the watcher of your mind. Be the executive of your mind. You know, manage it. You know, you tell the mind what to do. You're the head. The mind's not the head. You know, so you let the mind know what's going on. You know, and it'll come on board. You know, the mind starts to love you more. You know, when you start releasing and, you know, letting go of things and things that, you know, you want to sort of talk about, once you kind of, you know, work a system to get that out, and then you start going into places that you didn't experience before. And you go, well, what's happening here? Like, I was going through all these energies on my own. I'm going, what's happening? Why am I burning up, for instance? Why is my body getting so hot? Oh my God, my heart's palpitating fast. Oh, what's that? Oh, and then, you know, then you go into a 4-hour pain of liver, and you've got to learn how to surrender into the pain. You know, what's going on? You know, there's so many things in this journey. Your body gets corrected. I have oil dripping out of my eye. How come I got oil dripping out of my eye? You know, your glands are excreting oils. You absorb your urine, you know, and you know, then you got to do liquid number 2 sometimes, and you just got to make sure I've got to run to the loo, you know. And the other thing that happens with women on this journey, you know, your third channel, you know, you just completely always fluid flowing, you know. And you think, oh, how come is that still happening? You know, how come there's so much fluid coming out of me? You know, all these questions have come even more and more. But the one thing I kind of worked out through the journey is that It just keeps happening. You just keep going deep and deep, and your body keeps changing. More things keep releasing. And the only thing that really, really works is try not to understand it, because the mind can't understand it, but the realizations will come. The realizations will come through wisdom. They always do. They always do. And that's when you become stronger in yourself. You become more resilient. The mind gets much more powerful, much more powerful. And yeah, and you love greater. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much. And you talked about something. You have talked about so many things. I don't want to repeat yourself, but there was the importance of speaking in tongues. There was that part of speaking in tongues. You just had little like that, and then I feel that you can really emphasize, because we are now about to close. We are going to close in
yeah. The bit about, do you want me to talk more about speaking in tongues?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I think a lot of that is, for me personally, you can let go of a lot of things. You can release a lot of things and dissolve a lot of things by speaking in a different way, because it will move you out of your mind. It will, you know, it'll take you into a different place when you start opening up your mouth for what it really was supposed to be used for, you know, and making it a weapon. It's a sword to cut through the atmosphere and to bring forth the power of the divine one that's within you. So when you speak in light language or tongues, you're starting to really center in the flow and the power that comes through you. And you start to trust that more. You know, you start to trust, and then you start to get interpretations eventually of what you're kind of saying. And sometimes, you know, when you do want to get things out, if you can move to the place of sound, is just really, really beautiful. But I think, let's see if I can go there for you, Frederick. Hang on. Yes, for some more. He says, yes, sorry, amor, seré, hemos que se tere a ti, mozo etisi, isa eso, emogiae, quiero somos si te si yo que sore sacaterie così ama ma se soy esa sí. You know, humans don't even realize how blessed they really truly are. You know, you are all so, so beautiful. You are all so loved. It's just a matter of just loving yourself more and more and realizing your presence and your light is a beam for everyone that comes near you, that you are truly the beautiful one. You are the special one. It is because of you that we are all here. It's because of you that you call us all here. It's because of you, because you want to love more, that you want to go greater and deeper within inside of yourself. It is really quite simple to do that. But your mind will always try and get you off road, you know. But it is very, very simple. It is simple to love. And we will always say this, that you are truly, truly worthy, worthy, worthy you are of all the love that you are able to receive. And as you receive, you must allow it to flow out onto this planet and give to others greater. You are truly a special, special soul. May you evolve into your light more, and may you love greater than you can ever, ever imagine, greater than the capacity that you feel that you already have in your vessel. Your vessel is forever, ever expanding, forever expanding. It does not contract. You are truly one with us all, and we love you. Thank you so much, Frederick.
Wow. Thank you. Wow. Shalom. Thank you so much. And there was something that was in my heart. Actually, we should have started with it.
Yes.
India, mentioning India in our prayer because of the COVID situation we are seeing in the news. The national news is like, I think this, as we were gathering, I don't know how it passed me. It should have been the first thing that we started with, remembering India in our prayers.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely remembering. There are many that have transitioned over, which allows you kind of to realise that we've got lots to do here. And fasting the body and bringing it into light gives us greater power.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. We are going to have you again because I know the flow. It's not just one time thing. This is like yeah, exactly. It comes like a fellowship, something like that, as we go in our journey.
Yeah, and this is a little bit different, and from gives a little bit of a. I think Elizabeth was mentioning there's a lot of people that are evolved fasters, and they want to know what's the next part in this journey. And I like to help with energies, like to really understand the energy and the flow. When you start to really fast your body and you feel the power coming through you, I would really like to help in that area. And also the other thing I love is unification with inside of yourself, because when you move into ecstasy, you're going to move into another dimension, and you can't understand it through the mind. You have to feel it. So I like to bring that to the world of dry fasting.
Thank you. We are going to arrange on these meetings again and again and again, learning. So anyone wants to say something to Ranjeet? For me, it's just gratitude. Thank you. I can't say it how many times. Thank you. Yeah, as we close.
It's my honor, and my honor. And thank you for everyone else here. You've come and gone, and I know you're recording it, and the people that are going to listen to it.
Later.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone that brings their presence and light. Don't try and understand this through the mind, rather than feel it through your heart and your soul, because then you will get it.
Yeah, okay. So even as we are closing, there's a question that just popped in here. Let's call it A or B, the last one, then we close. Please ask about the full moon fast and the new moon fast. What is the reason she does them? What should we practice during this fast? Any details appreciated?
Oh, my favorite. I love it. Which, I mean, I don't know if you post my group here or not, but we do new moon fasting, and I've got a whole video on it about how you create your intention and how you actually bring that intention through your body. Okay, so you create the intention, and then when you get to the full moon, we die to ourselves. We do 3-day dries if you can, or 3-day water, whatever's easy for people. We die to ourselves and we resurrect a new being. So we become new again. And you allow the attention to be released into the atmosphere, but it has to be aligned with the divine one. So we do that. And then we do what's called season changes. So season changes when the planets become aligned, and the gateway is very, very powerful, very, very powerful. And I've felt this guidance, especially with, season changes that are incredible. And that's when you can actually go and stretch it even longer. If there's a full moon in there, you can stretch it even longer. So I've done season changes where 12-day dry fast, 9-day dry fast. And at the moment, this particular season that I'm in now from March to June, I'm doing like 6-day dry fast and 3 days of liquid. So I'm moving through, this phase, but I'm guided to do that. But I find, like anything, when you do 3 months of anything in a cycle, it's like giving birth. You're growing something in an intention, and it's manifesting itself, and then you are creating something very brand new. And that's why I like 3s and 9s, because it works in the cycles of the universe and in the divine. So that's the reason I've been guided, I suppose, to those patterns and cycles, and it's helped me for close to 3 years now, just by that particular guidance. And I find the second month is very, very powerful as well in the season change, as it's growing. Things are being created and manifesting, and they're settling in the second month, like the second trimester, first, second, and third. That's why I do that beautiful one. And you're more than welcome if Frederick wants to put Soul Group up. We have a very small private group, evolved fasters. They've been on this journey for a while, and we keep that as a consistent habit and discipline, because we are our disciples. We are the disciples within us, so we discipline ourselves in that, and it works. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. So maybe we're going to connect, so that I'm going to put the link to the on the video on that group, so that people can just join the group easily.
I love collaboration. Yeah.
Wow. So if there's no one else with anything else, I think we have to close this meeting this afternoon in Kenya. Everywhere else, sometimes it's morning, sometimes late night.
And the other thing too, I don't sell anything. I'm just like you, just in service. The only thing I sell is to sell the divine one, the essence of who we are. I like showing that in all of us, our hearts. So that's what I'm kind of, a little bit about. So yeah, we do this in service, most of us.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. So thank you, everyone. We are telling Ranjeet bye-bye, and thank you and welcome again.
Yes, thank you very much. Love you all. Love you all.
Wow.
Thank
Love.
you. God bless you all. Bye.